I have 7 o'clock.
I do too, but I'll change the clock.
Okay, looks like we're live.
Good.
Yes.
All right. Good evening. We'll call to order the regular monthly meeting of the City of Helotes Planning and Zoning Commission. It's April 2nd at 7:01. And I will bug you. I'll just call the roll. Keep it simple. So Greg Michelle here, Lisa Whiteman
Here.
Buck
And
Russell
Buckles here.
and we have 2 absences. We have Michael Gallardo from staff and Cato is our council liaison. We do not, Michael, have any citizens to be heard this evening?
No, sir.
All right, great. So as soon as Michael projects it, we have the minutes this evening, which we all had the chance to review ahead of time. There's not a hard copy on the dais this evening, so we're just gonna hang on a minute to.
Give me 1 second. I'm not sure. We've had network issues all day
And phone issues.
and phone issues. Yeah.
So otherwise we can't. Oh, you can abstain. I mean, you just need majority here. So you don't know. Fair point. That work?
Yeah, I always download everything.
Oh, you do?
Give me 1 second.
But you have a copy of that. Did you?
Yes. There. You
Yeah,
can-
I've seen it. Sure that- Any luck?
Here we go.
All right, thank you. So these were the minutes from our previous meeting, which was actually a special meeting in February, on February the 6th. We all received them. Are there any edits or corrections to your knowledge, Buck?
None to my knowledge.
Okay, so if we could have a motion for the minutes, maybe Buck. you should make it.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of the February 6th, 2024 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting as written.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so the motion is to approve the minutes as submitted for the February 6th special meeting of planning and zoning. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And motion is approved. The minutes are approved unanimously. Thank you guys for that. Okay, our next item tonight, discussion and action on the request by Signorama for approval of a wall sign pursuant to Code of Ordinance, Chapter 98, Section 72, subparagraph G6B2. That's Old Town Helotes Special District. Commercial signs for Hay Family Insurance, 14893 Bandera Road, Suite 5C. Michael, do you have anything beyond what was submitted to us?
No, sir.
Okay, is the applicant here tonight if we have any questions? Nope.
No.
Okay. So this was, you could maybe call up the sign itself, make sure we're all clear on what this is. There it is. You can see where it's going to go, wall mounted sign. Are there any comments, questions, concerns from the commission about this item?
Yeah, appears everything's compliant. I think it'd be a nice enhancement for the building and people to know where they're going.
Jason, anything? No. All good. I would invite a motion for this item, and this is an approval item.
Correct.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the sign of discussion of action on a request by Sinorama for approval of a wall sign pursuant to municipal code of ordinances, chapter 98 zoning, section 98-72, Old Town Special District, subparagraph G6B2, commercial signs for Hayes Family Insurance, located at 14893 Bandera Road, Suite 5C, Helotes, Texas.
Great. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Great. Any discussion of the motion, Jason or Buck?
No.
No.
Great. So the motion is to approve the request by Signorama for wall signs pursuant to Code of Ordinances, Chapter 98 zoning, Section 72, Old Town Helotes Special District, subparagraph G6B2, commercial signs for Hay Family Insurance, 14893 Bandera Road, Suite 5C. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none. This is unanimously approved. Okay, could advance it to the next one, Michael. This one is number 6, which is discussion and action on a request by Sophia Jeffrey for approval of a creative sign pursuant to Code of Ordinances, Chapter 98, Section 72, subparagraph G7. That's Old Town Helotes Special District Creative Sign Review, authorizing the use of a roof-mounted sign for Spread the Loaves, a micro bakery at 14743 Old Bandera Road, Unit 6. Michael, do you have anything beyond what you all submitted?
No, sir.
Okay. Is the applicant here tonight?
Yes.
Great, thank you. And maybe, Michael, you could keep going until you get to the picture right there. That one, good. Okay, so I would start by opening the floor to the commission for comments, questions about this particular proposal. You could see the image of what we're talking about.
No concerns whatsoever. I think it looks great. Definitely folks will know where to go.
So if I may, I actually have a question. Ms. Jeffrey?
Yes.
You don't mind coming up just so we can get it on the record? And I'll ask you to just say your name and put your business address on the record, if you don't mind.
Is this on? or-
Yep, I think
Okay.
you're good.
Hi, Sophia Jeffrey, owner, Spread the Loaves.
Address, your address.
14743 Old Bandera Road, Building 6.
So my question
Yeah.
has to do with the fact that this is going through a creative sign process.
Okay.
It partly doesn't fit. It's not a wall sign. It's not a hanging sign. It's kind of
Mhm.
unique.
Mhm.
And as you well know, as the picture shows, there was a similar sign here.
Yeah, it's actually still there. The
It is still there.
structure is still there. I'm just what my sign is. It's a thin aluminum composite. We're just gonna put it right on top of the existing.
So my
Congelado sign.
question, and I guess I could call it a concern, is
Mhm.
that to be approved as a creative sign, there's got to be something unique about it. There needs to be a unique design. There needs to be something that makes it stand out or fits with the context. It clearly says what the business is. It's not about the content of the sign.
Mhm.
It's just that it's a ordinary, and I don't use that term in a negative way. It's just a regular old sign.
Mhm.
And it would be, I think, more appropriate for it to have some type of alignment with the Old Town community, either through the color of the sign, the design of the sign, something that makes it a little bit different. If you look at the gelato one that's there, as I see it,
Mhm.
what it does at least uses that earth tone color and has a little design to it. So it's not just the words of the business, there's something a little more to that. Now, I bring this up, I don't have any, really problem with it. This is a recommendation item to city council. And, ultimately they'll decide on it, but I am concerned that if you look at the actual language of the code about creative signs, it actually stipulates to be considered creative, it has to sort of check some boxes.
Mhm.
And I'm concerned that this does not check those boxes.
So did I apply under creative? Because I just filled out the form that I was sent. Like, I guess I'm confused.
I don't
as
think
to-
you would necessarily, well, Michael,
Yeah.
let you go.
Yeah, because it's Old Town Helotes.
Okay,
And it's on roof mounted.
Okay,
it falls under that category.
okay,
So in other words, had it been like on the wall or a monument sign or something of that nature, then
okay.
it wouldn't
Well-
default to this.
Well, there isn't really a space on the wall to put it.
No.
As you can see,
I
it's a
totally
very
agree.
tiny building. The sign is literally my logo. Like it's just, my logo is round and it's that black circle because that's kind of the branding that I've gone for is very neutral because the bread is like the star of the show kind of thing. I think it fits in with the surrounding businesses, like if I can say that, I think it, I mean, I don't know. I guess I can go back and
So-
redesign again. I guess my concern is I've been open for 3 weeks now and I don't have a sign yet still, so.
And I get that. And
Yeah.
the point is not to hold you up,
Mhm.
but because it's an unusual sign and it's unusual because we don't have a category for this, it's roof mounted, so it goes through this process.
Okay,
So as a special, unique sign, because of where it's placed, it has to meet the criteria of what we call creative. So my concern is that simply by the design, I know it's your brand, but I don't know that it would, I'm concerned it doesn't meet that criteria. Now,
okay,
we're gonna vote here and whatever we vote, but
Mhm.
if it approves here, just to be clear, this is recommended to city council. So
Mhm.
city council will take this up regardless of whether we recommend approval or not recommend approval. It's going to city council to ultimately decide. But I put this out to you to just, I think this is something to think about, especially if it becomes an issue or council raises concerns.
okay.
So that's the way I could put it right now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm confused as to what would make it creative. If it was wood toned like Congelados, because Congelados is just their logo.
Yep.
That's all
Take
that's
a
all
look,
the issue
Michael,
is.
Michael could point, well, it's actually in the packet for tonight, which you can access online, the actual code itself, and you can see the language. And he can, I think, is it in there, Michael? Thought you had it.
Yeah, so
Okay,
that's the criteria.
I can't read, it's too small, but.
yeah, I just, again, I think that the sign that I'm proposing fits in with the signs at the surrounding businesses that I'm at, but I understand where you're coming
Right.
from. I wasn't honestly aware of all of this. Obviously, I've had a lot on my plate trying to get the business open and I was just trying to get this application in. But yeah, that's something to keep in mind for sure.
Well, I think I speak for the commission. We're glad to have you in town. It's great to have
Thank
a
you.
bakery.
I appreciate it.
Look
Thanks.
forward to it. So this
Yeah.
hopefully is just, it may amount to nothing, but it's something that, at least one commissioner's got
Okay.
noticed about it. So,
Noted.
Jason, any comments or questions for the applicant?
No.
Okay, so I think we're good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And I would invite a motion at this time,
I'll make a motion.
please.
Right. I'll make a,
Number 6, yes, go ahead.
it's for approval, a recommendation.
It's recommended.
Recommendation for approval, right? I make motion for discussion, let me see, for approval of the creative sign pursuant to municipal,
You said recommendation.
Recommendation.
Say that.
yes,
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
of ordinance chapter 98 zoning, section 98.72, Old Town Special District, subparagraph G7, creative sign review, authorizing the use of a roof mounted sign for Spread the Loaves, a micro bakery located at 14743 Old Bandera Road, Unit 6 in Helotes.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion of the motion, Buck?
No, sir.
Jason?
Just a comment that I generally, I see, although I know it's a reuse in this case, but to me, the creativity of this particular application was kind of in its form. I mean, you see this kind of traditional roof mounted sign in vernacular architecture, which I think is fairly in keeping with Old Town design. And even though, the colors may not jive with what the earth tones that we generally like to see, I think the form is in keeping with the Old Town district.
Good.
Just one comment, sorry.
And actually, to tell you the truth, this isn't the ideal time because we got a motion, so I can't actually let you talk at the moment.
Awesome.
Sorry about that. I don't have anything further to add. So to call the vote, the motion is to recommend approval of the request by Sophia Jeffrey for the creative sign pursuant to code chapter 98 zoning section 72 Old Town Special District subparagraph G7 creative sign review authorizing the use of a roof mounted sign for Spread the Loaves, a micro bakery at 643 Old Bandera Road, Unit 6. All in favor of the motion signal aye.
Aye.
Opposed, aye. So 2-1, this motion is approved. Goes to City Council on
April 11th.
April 11th. So I would encourage you to come back and be here for that. Okay, next one, number 7 tonight is discussion and action on a request by Lauren Farley for approval of signage for H2O Helotes at 12340 Bandera Road, Suite 101. And that includes the following: a hanging sign pursuant to Code of Ordinances, Chapter 66 signs, Section 51 commercial signs, projecting wall and hanging or in or on windows, and a monument sign pursuant to Code of Ordinances, Chapter 66 signs, Section 6650 commercial signs, multi-tenant shopping center, business park, or office complex. Michael, is there anything beyond what you all have sent in the packet? No, great. And is the applicant here tonight? Okay, if we have questions. So I'd open the floor to the commission if there are comments or questions for this item.
No, it seems pretty pretty by the book, in terms of ordinances compliance.
I agree. It seems pretty straightforward.
Very good. And I think it works as a sign. I'll ask, to save you coming up here, I'll just ask Michael, can you tell us, Michael, what type of business this is?
So they purify water, like through osmosis, I believe, right?
Alkaline and reverse osmosis.
Yeah, okay. Very good. We have a similarly named business that just came into Helotes recently, not H2O exactly, but similar, so HTO. So it gets a little confusing, but thank you. We can have a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Yes,
Let me see, this is a approval?
Yes.
yes,
All right.
it is.
And I make a motion for approval on a request by Lauren Farley to approve approval of a signage for H2O Helotes located at 12340 Bandera Road, Suite 101. In Helotes, identified as BCAD property ID number 1040214, and including the following: a hanging sign pursuant to Municipal Code of Ordinance, Chapter 66 signs, and a monument sign pursuant to Municipal Code of Ordinance, Chapter 66 signs.
Okay, so is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion of the motion?
No.
Nope. Okay, so the motion is to approve the request by Lauren Farley for signage for H2O Helotes 12340 Bandera Road, Suite 101, including a hanging sign pursuant to Code Chapter 66 signs, Section 51 commercial signs projecting wall and hanging or in or on windows, and a monument sign pursuant to Code Chapter 66 signs, Section 6650 commercial signs, multi-tenant shopping center, business park, or office complex monument type. All in favor of the motion signal aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? This motion is approved. Okay. The last item tonight, number 8 on our agenda, is discussion and action on the request by Cynthia Parker for approval of signage variances for the view at Helotes Creek and Event Center located at 15248 Scenic Loop Road, including 2 signs here identified as sign A, which is a cistern business marker pursuant to Code Chapter 66 signs, Section 52 miscellaneous signs, subparagraph G4 creative sign review, and sign B, 2 business fence markers pursuant to Code of Ordinance, Chapter 66 signs, Section 52 miscellaneous signs, subparagraph G4 creative sign review. Michael, anything in addition to what you all said?
So other than it's gonna require variances, basically it's the Judicial Services Center off of Scenic Loop. And so the idea, and I'm sorry that the applicant's not here, but the idea was to basically not take away from the primary business, but they have basically a duplicate certificate of occupancy use. So they have one for judicial services, but they've redlined an area on the first floor so that they can utilize as an event hall. Per code, it's a scheduled use based on what it's zoned as. And so her idea and the conversation that I had with her, meaning Cynthia Parker, who's one of the owners of the facility, was to kind of like, she didn't want to overshadow the primary business, but she did want to add just a few elements with the signage. That's why she didn't say, for example, make the monument sign like multi-tenant and things like that, because she kind of wanted to make sure that the judicial services was kind of like the primary focus of the property.
Okay, the applicant says it's not here.
No,
And so to be clear, we're only dealing with the signage tonight because
Correct.
it's a use that's permitted.
correct.
So there's no discussion of it.
Yeah, it's a scheduled use.
Okay. Maybe you could bring up the images of the signs. This is discussion of them.
The judicial services, do they have a sign?
Yes, they do.
Where's it?
Right here where the mouse is at, you can see the little cursor there. That's their monument sign. I think on one of the other pictures, you might see it in the background. Let me see here. You can see the monument sign there.
Yeah.
That's for the judicial services. So if we look at the first sign, it's per the applicant, a cistern or silo, however you guys want to address it. But this is the logo for the new event center.
And that cistern is currently, it is placed
Existing.
Towards the, I'll just say the rear of the property.
Yes,
It is fixed there, or is that something that,
that's existed there for, as long as they've opened. So, yes,
is it just decorative?
yes.
So we
Not sure
wouldn't,
if they use it to collect rainwater or anything like that, but as far as like, engineering wise, it's not, it is just decorative.
is there any, so my only, I'll just remind me speaking first on this. My only concern with this is I wouldn't want in 6 months or a year for them to decide to relocate that cistern up on the street. Which I suppose is permissible unless we put it in a motion to say we.
Right.
So, okay, so I would ask the commission to consider that we wouldn't want, I mean, I wouldn't think that the commission would want to have that
No.
cistern up at the street. So I think that deserves to be part of a motion if others are amenable to it.
And just, for reference, like you said, it is towards the rear of the building. It is kind of far off of the street, but again, with the idea that she didn't want to overshadow the primary business use.
How many stories is the building?
It's two.
Two, right? Okay. Other comments, questions, Buck? Or Jason, go ahead. Jason.
Comment similar to your comments about the bakery. If it's under the creative sign ordinance, I like the logo a lot. And I like the placement of the logo on the cistern. I think that's kind of in keeping with the creative sign ordinance. I'm not so sure that I agree here that the fence mounted signs are really creative, or they look a little clunky to me. It looks like it's hung on the fence with grommets and a zip tie. I'm not sure that that's kind of in keeping with the creative sign ordinance. That's the code we're asking to judge this under.
I mean, the colors appear to match the building colors, so the same color palette that they're going with. So it kind of, to me, kind of still blends in. Personally, I had no clue what this building was. I always thought it was a school or something like that.
Michael, can you show in the application, does it speak to the material of the fence signs and the attachments?
So the logo is vinyl.
Not that,
And so the fence signs are corrugated cardboard, kind of similar, like plastic material,
say again what they're?
corrugated.
Corrugated.
So it's plastic material,
Okay,
and I believe they're 3x3.
and I don't recall this from the application. Does it mention how they are attached? You can go, if you can scroll up to the application itself, which I think is earlier in the packet.
Yeah, it's not gonna,
I'm not gonna say that.
it's not gonna say anything like that. So basically, the way the photo,
Yeah,
this is basically how they're attached. similar to what Jason was saying. And I can kind of zoom in on that for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think the logo is fine. If I don't, the white background is fine. I just think if they were maybe attached to something a little more permanent and a little better looking than that, I think that's just a little bit, it looks like something a temporary banner that somebody put up on a fence.
And the material, it would deteriorate quicker and
Yeah.
heat and the sun. Of course, I don't know which way they're probably facing north-ish. So then we open up a maintenance issue.
Yeah, so I generally concur with the comments. I think the design is attractive and creative, but the type and placement is a bit of a. And this, of course, is a recommendation item, so whatever we put forward, council will have the chance to speak to as well.
Could we split a motion between the two?
We certainly could. You like to go ahead and make a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion. On discussion of an action on a request by Cynthia Parker for approval of signage variances for the view at Helotes Creek, an event center located at 15248 Scenic Loop Road, Helotes, Texas. Recommend approval for item A, provided the cistern remains in place as shown. Cistern business marker pursuant to municipal code ordinances, chapter 66 signs, section 66-52 miscellaneous signs. But recommend disapproval, I guess is the term.
So wait a second, let's just do one at a time. So did you just do the cistern one, right?
Yes,
Okay,
cistern.
so let's do one at a time. So is there a second for the sign A?
I second.
Okay, so discussion of the motion for the cistern.
I think the cistern is in keeping with what we're looking for, a creative sign.
Okay,
Same comment.
all right, so the motion is to recommend approval of the request by Cynthia Parker for the sign variance for the view at Helotes Creek and Event Center at 15248 Scenic Loop Road for sign A, cistern business marker pursuant to municipal code of ordinances, chapter 66 signs, section 52, miscellaneous signs, subparagraph G4, creative sign review, the condition that the cistern remain in place as shown in the application. All in favor, please signal aye.
Aye.
Aye. So that is unanimously approved for council for the 11th. And now I'd invite a motion for sign B.
Discussion of an action on a request by Cynthia Parker for approval of a signage variance for the view at Helotes Creek, an event center located at 15248 Scenic Loop Road, Helotes, Texas. Section B, 2 business fence markers pursuant to municipal code ordinance, chapter 66 signs, section 66-52 miscellaneous signs, subparagraph G4, creative sign review, recommend disapproval.
Is there a second?
I second that.
Discussion of the motion, Jason. Further?
No.
Buck, anything?
Nothing additional.
I agree. So the motion is to recommend disapproval of the request for the sign variance for the view at Helotes Creek and Event Center at 15248 Scenic Loop Road. For sign B, which is 2 business fence markers pursuant to code of ordinances, chapter 66, section 52, that signs, miscellaneous signs, subparagraph G4, creative sign review. All in favor of the motion to disapprove, signal aye.
Aye.
Aye. This motion carries. And again, it will go to council next week on the 11th.
On the 11th.
Very good. That brings us to the end of our agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a
Get that
second?
one.
I'll second.
All in favor of adjourning, signal aye. Aye. We stand adjourned at 7:31. Thank you all very much. Good night. We off, Michael?
Almost.
Good. Thanks for being here.
Yes.
Really, thanks for being here. Glad to see you.
Oh, yes.